No pain, no gain. We grew up with that motto, wearing those leg warmers. I believed it for decades. I pushed, I worked hard, but at some point my body said, whoa. Not loudly, no major issue, but it made a point. I have a torn meniscus in my right knee, and the traditional workouts felt like they were doing damage instead of helping me out. Like yoga, for example, that I used to love. Even just putting my knee on the ground, it felt like an electric shock. And squats, everybody says we should be doing them, and I know they're great, but with my knee, I don't think so. But with AI, I stopped trying to look for a workout, and I started using a filter instead. Hi, I'm Chantal, and welcome to AI for 50 Plus, born before Wi-Fi, owning AI. Today, I'll show you how I had AI check the best and most important longevity science against my own medical data so that it could build a system that would actually work for me. This is video 3 of the Smart Longevity series, and while sleep in video 2 was really important for day-to-day well-being and feeling great, movement is actually the most important factor and a very important predictor of functional health for the future. In the rankings I've been using for this series, movement is tier 1 for longevity and tier 2, which is still really important for day-to-day well-being. So a double whammy. If you want to check the rankings for longevity and for day-to-day well-being, they're a bit different. Check out video 1 of the series, where I also show you how to set up those 2 very important notebooks, important for the whole series and for your life, hopefully. And I've put a link in the description below. Here we are in NotebookLM, notebooklm.google.com, in my longevity notebook. And on the left here, we have all the sources. And I explained in video 1 how you can populate this side here. And what is important to know is that for each of the ranked factors that are the most important levers for longevity, each of them, like for example, movement, have a ton of research on them. For example, in this case, we have VO2 max research, we have strength, we have flexibility, and much, much more. I also downloaded documents about my own medical data, so blood tests, mammogram, x-rays, and you can notice here that I've redacted them because I didn't want any sensitive information that could identify me floating out there. For example, my last name, address, social insurance number. So I show you also in video 1 how you can do this and redact those documents or any other that you feel you don't want to have a certain information there. Once you've set up your notebook, then I went to Gemini, and Gemini gave me the prompts to use to generate the outputs. And once you have the prompt, you go here on the right-hand side in the studio and you click on Infographic here. And I didn't change anything. Landscape, I kept the same. I didn't choose a style because in my prompt it's clear. I kept standard, and you paste your prompt here and you click on Generate. And what NotebookLM does then, because there's like medical information but also research, it actually looks at where the science hits my reality and what works. And it didn't just give me exercises, it actually gave me 2 very useful outputs. Let me show you the first one here. So that's the infographic. The top part here is more motivational. It explains why movement is so important, what advantage it gives you, 40% mortality risk reduction. That's pretty high, and the goal. But then it gives you 6 exercises, 3 for the upper body, 3 for the lower body, not only looking at what are the exercises that science has determined are the most impactful positively on longevity, but that respects my constraints. So you have them here, and then it explains at the bottom what it looked at. So there's no axial loading because I have an issue with my lower spine, so there's none of that. No rotational or low rotational torque, same issue, and minimum compression both for the spine and for my knee. If you want to have a bit more, you can change the prompt, and instead of saying 3 for the upper body and 3 for the lower body, you can say 5. But it really gives you a good start in terms of what you should be doing and what gives you the biggest bang for your buck, but respecting your constraints. The second one that I want to show you is the dashboard. And the dashboard is my favorite. So what you have here in the prompt, there's a little like parenthesis where you could actually put the name of the exercise that you want AI to check. In this case, traditional squat that I've put. It talked about, of course, my issue with my lower spine. It's yellow, so squat is not recommended, but it's not the end of the world. But it's red for my meniscus tear, of course. And then, I mean, there's a lot of red here. It gives you here why it's not good for these two. But also, I had an Achilles tendonitis, and it's resolved now. It would have been okay for that, so it tells me it's okay. But of course, there's a very big risk, compression warning. And then what I like is that it gives you what you can do instead that gives the same or almost the same benefits. So you have it here, and it gives you how it can reduce all-cause mortality risk if you do this. So that one was really, really interesting. So no more guessing. If the dashboard says red, the guilt is gone, and I just move on. I put the 2 prompts Gemini wrote for the outputs in the description. Use them to build your system today. And if you need a bit more one-on-one help, check out the pinned comment and the description. I'm offering AI clarity sessions for people over 50 or younger. You can't optimize a body you're breaking. We spent years pushing through the pain. We don't have to do that anymore. Using AI as a safety filter is being smart about your own health. This week, why don't you take one exercise and run it through your NotebookLM dashboard? It will give you a safe alternative. Next week, we're moving to the living room. Social isolation is as bad for your heart as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In video 4, I'm using AI to look at my social life. I will build a map to see who is adding years to my life and who is actually taking some away. See you there.